again, we getting ready. We getting ready for the rollout to the world. So he wanted to make sure he put on that great performance for the fans. We great, trust me. Y'all want y'all guy to come out and put on that show for y'all. Trust me, because I'm looking for that fight where we had back in the days when y'all said, yo, that was an epic fight right there, and that's what we looking for.
I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul have in all this.
Great mouth for years now, saying I need to fight a real boxer.
He got to fight a actual fighter, like a fighter.
Who was somebody you could see him fighting, like a real you?
Well, little man, congratulations. You got your wish. Friday, November 14th, Atlanta, Georgia. Once again on the biggest platform in the world, Netflix. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul.
The boxing community erupted when Gervonta Davis's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, unleashed a fierce warning toward Jake Paul during a press event that left everyone in shock. With his trademark intensity and blunt honesty, Ford dismissed Paul's rise as hype, stressing that a clash with Tank would be pure danger. The exchange has only fueled the ongoing rivalry between boxing's established champions and crossover stars, igniting debate over respect, legacy, and whether Paul is remotely ready to swim in the deepest waters of the sport.
My journey's crazy. That's why I said there, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. You know, and Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do to take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
Recently, the bond between Gervonta Davis and Calvin Ford raised eyebrows after Ford was absent from Tank's corner during the Lamont Roach Jr. fight. Ford clarified it wasn't due to issues, but rather a strategic and temporary adjustment. Nothing's changed, he explained, pointing out that the system remained untouched and that his loyalty and partnership with Davis remained just as solid as ever.
I ain't even gonna ask you that question on camera.
What?
I'm talking about family at this point. Cause you pulled up with just somebody else. You didn't even pull up with your team you pulled up with. We ain't see Calvin. Yeah.
Calvin was there.
Okay.
Calvin was there.
Okay.
I think he came a little late though. I spoke to him.
Y'all good?
Yeah.
All right, because
I just seen Calvin too. But that's another thing. Calvin is someone that he's like, when I ain't had no pops, Calvin was the person that you feel me, stepped in that shoes. So no matter if he's not my coach, anything like that, he's always gonna be in my life.
And that's why I said I would have asked that question off camera because I already know. So I ain't, but you already cleared it.
For Davis, Calvin Ford has always been more than a trainer. Since discovering him at Upton Boxing Center at the age of 7, Ford has been a mentor, guardian, and role model who helped steer Tank away from the rough streets of West Baltimore. After serving his own decade-long prison sentence, Ford devoted himself to guiding kids through boxing. He sharpened Davis's craft, supported him through fame, and even helped balance the rocky relationship with Floyd Mayweather, proving himself to be both a coach and a father figure.
You know, Calvin, he been with me since I was 7. I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
When I had to train Tank, when I didn't want him to get in trouble and I wanted to make sure we was together, I used to take him to work with me. And he'd chill. Everybody know him. Everybody know him at work.
Remember, Calvin used to fuss at the guys that was coming up with me, and they was in the streets a lot. He was telling them, like, you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You gotta be, like, all the way in it. Like, focus on the goal, you know, and them guys, they went left, and unfortunately, they got killed.
You weigh the odds out like that. Do you want him to go to jail or you want him to live? That's the whole idea, to come to the boxing gym.
If I ain't had the people I had around me, like the people that started with me and things like that, I probably would have been off the scene for a long time.
When it comes to Jake Paul, Ford has zero doubts. He declared Paul wouldn't last a moment against Gervonta Davis, insisting Tank's speed, power, and boxing IQ are on a level far beyond anything Paul has ever faced. Ford noted that Paul's resume is built on influencers and faded names, and warned that stepping in against Tank wouldn't just be a mismatch, it would be reckless.
Tank was the first one in the gym, the last one out the gym. Tank used to sit on the ring like this and watch me train him.
How old is he at this point?
He was like 7, 8.
Okay.
A lot of stuff that I was giving my son was giving it to Tank. So it was a perfect fit. Tank was like the family, you know what I'm saying? And he used to sit at the table because I had another kid named Ramon Manning. He liked to play with them guns, you know what I'm saying? And when I lost him, I was hurt because that was my first time losing a fighter that you put so much into. Remember, I said, Tank, my money running out. And he just looked at me and said, believe in me, coach. Believe. That's what did it.
When he said that, that's...
It's still...
Damn.
I don't hear Tank as the day. I hear Tank as that little boy. Believe in me, coach. And he came in the gym one day and he said, Coach, I seen. I said, what you seen? I had all the belts on me. He said, I'm gonna be that dude. The rest is history.
Damn, I got goosebumps low-key. That's kind of crazy.
UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier echoed Ford's sentiments, voicing his disbelief that such a matchup is even being discussed. Cormier, respected for his candid takes, reminded fans that Davis is a proven knockout machine, while Paul's success has come in far less demanding circumstances. His comments underline the growing divide in combat sports, as fans weigh the appeal of spectacle fights against the reality of legitimate, elite-level competition.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas. When Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul, I said, get the bleep out of here. I said, you're a bleep liar. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. And I'm not over here in the business of just crapping on Jake Paul. I am much more respectful of what he's starting to build as a professional boxer. You're fighting a guy that's better than you. He's just much smaller. But that guy, because he's better than you, what if he wins? Everything Jake Paul has done is wiped completely out. Gervonta Davis loses to Jake Paul. Obviously, it's going to hurt who Gervonta Davis is, but he lost to a guy that's going to be upwards of 70 pounds bigger than him when he steps into the boxing ring. But I will tell you this right now, without a shadow of a doubt, I will watch this. Tank Davis is 30-0-1. You want to talk about Jake Paul fighting a real boxer? That's a real boxer. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's true. They're fighting.
Daniel Cormier gave Paul some credit, admitting he respects the way Jake built his brand to the point where major platforms like Netflix constantly want him involved. Still, Cormier warned fans not to get carried away, stressing that Gervonta Davis is simply on another level. He pointed out the absurd size difference and reminded everyone that while Paul carries some danger, it's Tank who holds the true advantage, making the matchup lopsided from the start.
We were yelling so much about him fighting someone, fight somebody your size. His next opponent is, by far, the most credentialed guy he's ever fought. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds.
Stephen A. Smith didn't mince words either. He blasted the fight as nothing more than a publicity stunt fueled by money and clout. Smith went as far as calling it an embarrassment to boxing, arguing that events like this mock the sport's integrity. Instead of showcasing skill and competition, he said, fights like these reduce boxing to empty spectacle, entertainment that takes away from the fighters who actually put in the work to uphold the sport's legacy.
I can't buy the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane, it's hard to me believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really, really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you, and you want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer / fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody? Pretty please, with sugar on top. I'm interested.
Steven, I wanted you to come on the show to tell me that you think I'm a great boxer?
I think you're a damn good boxer with a lot of potential. And I got one problem with you, and I told you this already. You are skilled. You cannot be going in the ring beating up on dudes that you know don't box. You can't have a basketball player, UFC fighters. No, they strike. They don't box. There's a difference. They're not on your level.
Meanwhile, Mike Perry, the bare-knuckle brawler and former UFC star, didn't hold back his own warning to Paul. Confident in his battle-tested experience, Perry boldly declared he's ready to take Jake's head off in their eventual clash. He criticized the way Paul has been protected by promoters and matchmaking, vowing that those safety nets won't matter against someone like him. Perry's challenge wasn't just about bravado. It reflected his intent to prove Paul can't escape the dangers of facing real fighters.
I've been succeeding consistently, and I've been getting better every single day. Put this little twerp in his place. He's new to this game. Welcome. Welcome. You just got here. Don't worry, you're going to get what you've been asking for. You're going to get tired. You're going to be grasping for air. I made a new word, grasping. You're going to be grasping for air, but Jake is big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80.
Lightweight prospect Emiliano Vargas, son of legend Fernando Vargas, also voiced strong disapproval of the proposed Davis-Paul exhibition. He slammed the fight as a mockery, pointing to the drastic weight gap between the two and warning it undermines boxing's credibility. Vargas argued that these kinds of spectacles steal attention away from meaningful matchups. At the same time, he acknowledged Paul's latest win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., noting it, but stopping short of offering praise. His tone made it clear he sees Paul's rise as more hype than substance.
I mean, look, like, he's not accepted. I mean, look, he's a YouTuber. People know that. But you gotta respect it, man. The only thing you do is respect it. But, you know, that's it, man. You gotta respect it.
Easy work. What do you think of the end? Any of them hurt you?
I just think Chavez didn't get started. That's the only thing. I mean, you can't win.
I want to be world champion. Zerto looks slow as shit tonight.
You can't win if you don't throw, you know, so it was kind of like the Ryan Garcia-Rollies thing. You know, Rollies didn't, I mean, Ryan really didn't get started, so, you know.
What do you think about how Jake looked and fought?
Hey, you know what?
You're very tough.
If he sucked ass, he sucked ass, but he actually looks pretty good. There's people who walk into the gym, you can tell right away if they can box or not, so. He can box, he's selling out, you know, obviously this arena, and the only thing I can do is take a page out of his book and, you know, put it towards my showmanship, so.
You think he's ready for someone like top 15, top 20?
I mean, look, you know, he knows who to fight. Obviously, he's, you know, growing in his career. If he really wants to make a career, I wish him nothing but the best. But I just think that, you know, it's going to be a little longer until then.
Thank you, I mean, appreciate it. Oh, give us an update about you. You got a date coming up.
July 26th, Madison Square Garden. I'm ripped up, I'm ready to go. Ran with Manny Pacquiao yesterday, and you know, I'm 15-0 on the way. Let's go, baby.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man.
My brother, appreciate it.
Originally, Jake Paul had been pushing for a blockbuster showdown with Anthony Joshua, but talks collapsed over money and promotional disputes. Left without that option, Paul pivoted to Davis, choosing the fight not out of merit, but because of the spotlight it guarantees. Analysts agree the matchup is more circus than competition, a spectacle designed for headlines and paydays. Davis's star power makes him the perfect opponent for Paul's business model, ensuring the fight generates buzz even if it lacks genuine sporting value.
How does Jake Paul do versus Anthony Joshua?
I think Ngannou, I'll ask you this, fella. Ngannou lasted about halfway through the second round, I believe, before he got knocked out. Do you think Jake Paul gets knocked out earlier or after that?
I think after. I think Jake Paul's gonna be a lot smarter than Ngannou and like not try to test his nuts with Anthony Joshua early on. So you know how he fought Mike Tyson, kind of like stay on the outside jab, kick the jab, use his foot, because he is athletic, you know what I mean? So he has some athleticism in him. Kind of just move your feet and see if he can kind of like get AJ the guy in a position to take advantage of that. So I think it'll go longer than 2 rounds for sure.
On his podcast, former 2-division champion Sean Porter didn't sugarcoat his feelings, calling the proposed fight nothing more than a spectacle that makes little sense from a sporting perspective. Still, despite the obvious size difference with Paul hovering near 200 pounds and Davis at 135, Porter made his pick clear. He's putting his money on Tank by knockout, insisting that Davis's skills and power would still shine through in such a lopsided matchup.
But also, what do you say? Like extend where the sport is. You know what I'm saying? So that's. And again, I'm not saying that it's disrespectful to put Jake Paul in the WBC rankings, but how can he go from 3 whatever to 15, 20, 25?
If this makes you feel better, he's number 52 in the United States.
Oh, that's what's up.
And cruiserweight.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
If it makes you feel better.
I gotta read this welcome letter from Saudi right quick because
Okay.
this one killed me. First of all, let me let y'all know.
Is that the for you to go over there?
Yeah. So K
Taking
Abdo.
your wife?
No.
Caleb Plant, however, offered a different perspective. He applauded Jake Paul's courage and discipline, saying that stepping into the ring despite his fame and risking failure in front of millions speaks volumes about his character. Plant admitted he respected Paul's decision to pursue boxing seriously. He even hinted at a possible showdown himself, saying if Paul wanted the fight, he'd gladly take it.
Do you feel like guys like Jake Paul are good for the sport?
If Jake Paul, you can hate him, you can love him, but he didn't have to start boxing. He was financially well off before that. So if he's going to take up all the training and the sparring and everything that comes along with that when he doesn't have to, you got to tip your hat to a guy like that. I know he's come up short in his last fight, so he'll never get the respect of all the fans, but now he has a chance to get the respect of his peers, more importantly. And that's to show that just because he came up short and took a loss, that he's not willing to back down from what he said he wants to be, which is a boxer. So we'll see moving forward how bad he really wants it.
Jesse Hart has raised concerns about Gervonta Davis's career direction. According to Hart, Davis's emphasis on lucrative spectacles over truly challenging opponents may cost him a lasting legacy. He argued that chasing paydays instead of chasing greatness risks holding Tank back from legendary status. Hart's criticism echoes a broader frustration among boxing fans who believe Davis's immense potential isn't being fully realized due to careful matchmaking.
If you want to join the circus, man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not. You got a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds, just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do to get money to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont Roach, there's still a question mark on that fight. It was still a question mark on that rumble. You just gonna leave it and then go right to the money and say, no, I ain't. That's how you know legacy and everything don't matter. I did that before. I took the money with the Joe Smith fight when my hand was fucked up and, excuse my language, my hand was messed up, broke in training camp, and I still said, yo, no, I'm taking that, I'm still fighting him.
When whispers of Davis facing Jake Paul first hit the boxing community, outrage erupted. Fans were shocked at the thought of a 200-pound social media star taking on a 135-pound world champion in what many saw as a money-first gimmick. Critics blasted the matchup as a circus that undermines the sport's integrity. Ryan Garcia summed it up bluntly, boxing is getting ruined every day. And if Davis were to lose in such an exhibition, the fallout would be massive. An undefeated lightweight superstar falling to a YouTuber. Analysts predict the internet would explode with memes, viral clips, and debates, ensuring the fight would be remembered more for its chaos than for its competitive merit.
Tank Davis cannot lose to Jake Paul. And this is the fight you all want to see. You might say, what are you talking about? We get to see if Jake Paul's really like that or not. Tank Davis' legacy is on the line. People already are questioning Tank for ducking fights. You can't lose, because if you do, you're gonna turn into a meme because you lost to Jake Paul. So you're ducking fades and then you lose to Jake Paul. What are you gonna do? Because nobody believes in you. Nobody believes in you. And for Jake Paul, you might say, wow, well, this is disrespectful to boxing. These are two entertaining people. You may not like this, but I guarantee you're gonna be tuned in for this. And if Tank loses, I never want to hear about Tank again.
So, what do you think? Does Jake Paul actually stand a chance against Gervonta Tank Davis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for more updates from the fight world.